Right, guys, Anthony Angelillo, branch manager for Paramount Residential Mortgage Group over here in Miami Shores, CEO, founder of Tag Team Nation, and this is Damage Control episode 13. It feels like it's episode 300 we were just discussing in the beginning, but that's only because we're constantly on Zoom meetings, and I've already done, what, 3 of them. So point of Damage Control, guys, is to problem solve and collaborate together as real estate professionals and entrepreneurs, and just talk through and navigate problems. And obviously we have this on a daily basis. I just had 2 issues this morning that I solved, and now we're going to be executing contract. But it's little things like that that we're trying to share and stream for all of you young professionals and veterans in the business. And we hope to see you attend all of our seminars. Thank you so much. And with that, I will lead it with Melinda.
Hi guys, Melinda Grimaldi, your real estate and title attorney. So not only do we troubleshoot your deals, but we're also helping to troubleshoot your marketing, your business development, right? So some of our topics are even more exciting than loans and contracts, although that's pretty exciting stuff for all of us because that means that we're working on a deal. I'm so excited to have Bethany here today, good friend of mine. She's coming back on the show, and this time I asked her to talk or to shed light on how she gets agent referrals from other parts of the country, other parts of the state, because she does that so well through social media and other types of avenues that she's used. So I'll let her introduce herself, and please, Bethany, take it away.
Hi, Bethany Martinez, a realtor with Related ISG. I've been practicing real estate for 7 years, and some of you may know me from Instagram or social media. I'm excited.
Or YPN.
YPN. I'm president of the YPN. I'll be the president next year, which is also very exciting. And that's also another outlet in which I get my referral business. But I don't want to say too much because I don't want to answer any questions that you're probably going to already ask. So how this chat came about is because in the beginning of the year, when I was doing the business planning class with Melinda, we were talking about my income streams in my real estate business. And it was basically like my Zillow leads at the time, my referral business, my circle of influence in my sphere. And then I also told her that this year I want to focus more on, because when I looked back at my closings last year, I did have a select amount of closings that came from just pure referral business through via social media or reach outs that I had made. And so we like brainstormed, and I said, well, if I have 3 different, revenue streams, like my sphere of influence, Zillow, and then my reach outs, then trying to build this agent referral system that I wanted to do, that should be enough to basically like double or triple my income this year if I really make sure that I'm putting my money and my marketing efforts and my time and my energy into the right places, because that's where my business was coming from. So since I already knew it was coming from there, how can I capitalize it, zone in, and make that happen? And then so from this year, I added another layer into the referral business, and I've, haven't gotten that many referrals from out of state agents yet, but I've also been getting referral, doing partnership deals with agents here. So that's been really great.
All right. So let's break all that down, right? So I know that what are the different ways that you are building these relationships? Let's start there.
Okay, so, one is my circle of influence, which everybody should be doing, just constantly reaching out and staying in front of your current clients and asking for business and them referring you business. That's like number 1, no brainer, super easy. If you're not doing that, then that's where all my deals come from. So besides ever doing Zillow and paying for leads, which I only started that this year when I got a team, 90% of my business was just simple referral business. I never paid for marketing. I never paid for, advertising. I never paid for leads. I just would show up on social media and really be connected to my database. And then the second one was,
okay, hang on. Let me stop you because
I have a
question. Let me do mine first. So you're keeping in touch with your sphere through social media, or do you do other things?
Well, I call them, I text them, I DM them. I'm on social media showing up daily, which is what they always tell me is how they can't forget, right? Because we usually follow each other on social media. So a lot of them are, I will say, in that age range where they are active on Instagram and Facebook. And then I send out I have email reminders whenever there's like a lease is about to end. I'm not really on point with the birthdays because I know, Melinda, you are on point. You send people birthday reminders, anniversaries. My big thing is just at least being up to date with when their lease ends or when their purchase anniversary or even their sale anniversary happened. If I could just remember those three things, then I'm good, because it's crazy how a year can fly by. I'm obviously adding new systems into my business where I can remember birthdays. And if you have a marketing assistant, that's really great. But when you're just a solo agent and you're just working off of your CRM, I tend to only focus on just anniversary dates, move-in dates, and whether they sold or buy, those anniversary dates. And sometimes that flies by quick enough to where I'm already like, wow, it's already been a year since you sold or bought a home. Isn't that crazy? And then in the midst of that, we stay connected through social media. I constantly send them like reminders and articles or different things that I'm seeing. And then a newsletter, every now and then I send out a newsletter, just kind of staying up to date with what's happening. I kind of group them into renters, buyers, and sellers, and then just old past clients that maybe I'm not doing anything with. And I only send them things that are relevant to them, or I'll send out 1 or 2 general emails throughout the year, which is like Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday ones. And those happen to be good enough for me to be able to maintain the business that I have now. I know people who send out weekly newsletters and weekly emails to their clients, and it works for them. But for me, just to keep it manageable, I do big holidays and I do anniversary dates.
Cool. Anthony, what was your question?
Well, it goes into the next question, but so I won't ask right now. I'll wait on it. But what type of content right now are you providing? If I'm a new agent or I'm a veteran in the business, what's the best piece of content that you've seen the most, your best ROI on?
Well, I started doing property video tours of the neighborhoods recently, and I'm sending those out individually. They go up on my social media and my YouTube channel, but I've been sending those out to like people in the neighborhood of which I'm doing the tour of the neighborhood. That's been really great. And I don't, other than all the COVID-19 things like that, I've been just collaborating on a lot of other people's things, like their content. And then I'm just reposting and sharing their content, because I almost feel like there was just such an overflow of everything that you can think of COVID. So for the last couple of weeks, maybe months, I've just been tagging up with like you guys and other agents and working together, doing collaboration pieces, whether it's like about our industry or our market or mainly the neighborhood. But I try to keep it tailored to my business. And then I'll share things every now and then to when we're big national news. But for the most part, what works for me is keeping it very simple and tailoring it to like my everyday business, and without getting complicated and getting too detailed. That reminder is, my clients love it. My followers love it. They're always like, wow, thanks for sharing. And it's just, it's still keeping the same of information that I would share normally. And then adding a little like educational piece in there every now and then. But for new agents, I would say like just whatever you can put together, whatever you want to focus on. Like I tell my team, like post what you're actually doing, the clients that you're actually working on, the situations that you're dealing with, the closings that you're having. You don't have to make them up, but just document the journey, right? And then on top of that, you can do a million other things like, first time home buyers or workshops. I know one of the girls on my team just taught a workshop.
Yay.
And she's posting, right? And you helped her put the presentation together. And she's been posting a lot of information and content pieces on, how to properly prepare your home to sell. Simple things like that. There's so much content out there. I just try to keep mine tailored to my life and my daily activities.
I love that. So that reminds me of the story you told me around when we first met, but you mentioned it a few times. And so I always ask you to bring it up whenever I have you spotlighted on some sort of platform, because with other agents, because it's so important with regards to referral, your spheres, other agent referrals. that one day you said your friend walked into the brokerage when you first started, and she came in with another agent.
When I was with my first brokerage ever, I remember I was in like a Bible prayer group with a group of girls, and one of the girls in that group, and I was always like, pray for my real estate business. Like, you know, I need to get clients. I want to do business. And so I remember one of the girls in that group ended up walking into my office with another realtor, and she was looking at like a property in that building. And I remember saying to her, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know you were looking for a real estate property. Why didn't you reach out to me? And she told me, she's like, oh, you know, I didn't know if you did that full time, or, you know, I had a friend that knew a friend. And it was just like, it felt so like, I don't even really think she knew that person. I just truly think that maybe because she didn't see me so confident in what I was doing, and that she kind of saw that I like didn't really post about real estate, but I was asking people to like pray for my real estate business. And she knew I had another job at the same time too. So I just think that because she knew me really, she probably knew that I wasn't that experienced and just didn't really trust me enough to give me my business, and kind of thought that I was busy doing other things. And at that point I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let that many people know that I don't know what I'm doing or that I need help. I'm just going to post what I'm doing. I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to make it seem like I've got this going on, you know? So every post after that, if it wasn't about, you know, real estate or work or business, I just didn't post it at all, you know? Because I was like, it's sad how like the people closest to you will not trust you or not even give you a chance but they'll go with someone that they don't even know just because they feel that person has had more experience. I hear it happen all the time, you know? So it's like taking your weakness and then using it against you. It's like, well, you're brand new, so I'm not going to give you a shot. Well, you know what? No one needs to really know all that, you know? They can be along with you for the journey, but if you just show up and show that you're adamant and you're willing and you're aggressive and you're hungry and you'll do it, does it matter how many years you've been in business? No. You know, just show up, show them that you're serious about what you're doing, and then they'll start believing that's the case.
Right.
Why do you think those agents, let me flip it. Now, being that you're successful now and you're queen of, you know, IG over here, you're intimidated to approach you now. Is it the opposite? Because that could happen too. Oh, she doesn't need business. She's doing well. He's blown up. I don't need
the only way that works, the only way that the only reason people are intimidated to reach out to me is when it's regarding rentals. And rentals is like my biggest money maker. I mean, I give a lot of the rentals to the girls on my team now because they don't have any deals and I'm kind of busy. So why am I going to hoard all these rentals when I can just be passing them on?
Delegating.
So for me, it's all about time and management and what's more worth my time. If I have a bunch of sellers that need my assistance and buyers, then my rentals, I just give them to my agents because, you know, I want them to make money. But a lot of people will always reach out to me and say, oh, I know you're so busy, but do you do rentals? And I'm like, absolutely, I do rentals. You know, of course, I never turn them away. But then I make an introduction. I get the information. I make the introduction. I tell them, listen, one of my team members is going to assist you when it comes to showings and everything else regarding this rental process, because they're just as good. And that's how I divide up my team, you know? And then they're like, okay, cool. I still stay involved, connected through emails. I'm still there overlooking and negotiating if they need me. But for the most part, I just bring a team member in and I let them take over from there. But I never say no. And I never say no to anything. And that's going to go, I'm going to show you how I've been able to manage that. And without saying no to anything, still be able to collaborate with other agents.
So I love that. And I remember when you were telling me about why you still take the rentals, you're like, I have it down to a system. Like we do it like this, we take it, we show them 3, they pick one. Like you really have it, have it down. So it makes it profitable to still do these rentals for you and your team.
That'll tell you, no, don't do them. It's not with your time. Yeah. If you're an agent that's by yourself and you do not have enough hours in the day and you're working with 3 buyers and sellers and your priority is where the money is going to be more, right? But I just don't see it like that. I just see like, if you are that busy, get some help and then split the help 50-50. And that way you can still take on the deal, but then you can also, and that's why I like working with new agents too, because obviously, you know, agents that have been in the business forever that are busy themselves, they're not going to want to do your rental for 50-50 or, you know, whatever split it is. They're not going to want that. They're going to want to they're going to say, no, I'm too busy for it. But I have a lot of new agents on my team that don't have that many deals going on. So they're super thankful to get any deal at all. And they're still learning and they're still building that relationship and they're still able to take that client and make it their own for the next year and remove them again, or maybe they're ready to buy. So that's why I've never said no to rentals, because all of my rentals have always turned into buyers.
That's super, super good, good advice
So
right there.
recapping that, new agent comes in, doesn't know the question. That doesn't mean you shouldn't answer the question. You should say, great question. Let me ask my team leader or my broker associate, broker. If you're a veteran in the business, then you should delegate. And that's the point of what, you know, Bethany's saying is that I get all the time, oh, you're too busy. I know, Aunt, if you can't get this deal, look, I have an entire team and I've thought about, okay, and I've projected myself, right, if I get to 50 to 100 units, how do I get there? How much help am I going to need? Where do I see the bottleneck and where do I anticipate the bottleneck? And that's what a real estate agent needs in this world, I would say, with automation and technology, is how fast can you scale? But also what Melinda says, set an expectations. I'm sure that you set the proper expectations. If you don't know the question, or if you do know the question, you will delegate it to one of your team members, hence the rentals.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome.
But another key takeaway is like, always remind people what you do, right? You don't want them to think.
Always remind people what you do. You know, if you're having a hard time getting business, but like someone can't go to one of your social media outlets or Google you or find you or look at your LinkedIn page and they can't determine what you do, then how do you expect them to trust you to know that you're doing what you're doing? Unless you've just built up your own little side business and you're someone that's low key and you just take, you do that on your own. But a lot of days, like when people refer me to clients are already like Googling me, looking me up on Facebook, looking up for my website. Then they come to me and they're like, oh, hey, okay, so I found you online and I saw your page and I saw your Zillow and I wanted to just like now connect with you. So some people already have gone through so much research. Even though someone referred me, they still do their own homework and research to see how present you are and how much you show up. And a lot of the time they're like, okay, I feel comfortable now.
Right. That's why what you post, getting your reviews, all that stuff, it's so important, even if you're just basing yourself on a referral business, right?
Yep.
Sorry, Anthony, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, she's right about that. I was looking at my stories recently and I saw a client that I just helped out, I wouldn't want to say 2 days ago, and they were about to place a bid on a home and they were going to lowball the listing agent. I said, look, I've been doing this 17 years. We're spinning our wheels here. We're rubbing 2 nickels here to see if we can get a dime. I don't think that even makes sense. Give them 343, and lo and behold, the listing agent called and said, we're going to do business. But that client literally stalked my entire weekend on my Instagram, and probably he should have. He wanted to say, what's this guy about? How does he operate? So it's very important to post content and relevant content. Here's my question. All right. Biggest question that I wanted to ask you, and I know you get it probably 10 times a day. If you have a client, when is the right time to ask the client for referrals? Or if you have any specific lead that comes in, whether it's sphere of influence, YPN, Zillow, when is it a good time for an agent to ask for a referral? And how often do you ask?
So, well, like you get a client if it's a cold client, and you just got to work on establishing a really good relationship with them first. You don't meet a client in 2 seconds after you meet them. Like, hey, do you know anybody else? At least I don't do that. I like to make sure our rapport is great. We've built a relationship, and I'm focused. I'm letting them know that I'm 100% focused on them. And then as that relationship is built, usually like as we get closer towards closing, then I'm like, well, if anybody needs anything, just let me know. I listen for certain conversations. I'm always looking out to hear people talking about if they need real estate. And then when they do, I just chime in and say, let me know, I can help, but more so like anywhere in the transaction, I don't think there's a right or wrong time, but I just think that people want to feel that you've taken the time to get to know them. They want you to feel like you've connected with them. They want to feel like they're a priority when they're coming to you to make this huge purchase or this sell. Imagine if like before you even sign a listing, you're gonna be like, okay, so by the way, do you know anybody else that looks for a home? It's like, well, what about me? So I feel like it's just like, for me, if I'm with someone, that's how I would feel. I'm like, focus on me first. And if this works, then I'll give you all my business. So I just think that how I want to be treated is how I treat other people. So I'm asking for referrals the second that I feel that we have a good relationship and we're connected and they know that I've done a good job for them. If I don't have that with them, I'm not worried about what's to come. I'm worried about over exceeding their expectations. And so hopefully naturally they just want to give me referrals, and also on top of asking for it.
So what about with the agents? So you're building, you have a huge following online. A lot of them are real estate agents, whether they're locally here or throughout the country. So how have you built that? I know you have YPN, Famous for Profit. So tell me how you diversified and built that following.
So the strategy with social media is that I constantly am looking for agents that are in their city doing what I'm doing, that we have like the same kind of following. We're pumping out content. We're all about positivity. We're all like, I look for agents online that I'm like, I like them. What are they doing? They're all about their city. They're all about, their clients. And then I engage with them. I follow them. I hit them up. I try to build a relationship. I've even come up with like a little one pager that says, hey, I want to be your referral partner. My name is Bethany Martinez. I live in South Florida. I stretch from this area to this area. And if you have a client that wants to move down, let me know. Here's my bio. Here's my information. And this is my referral agreement. And I just like get that out there in step one. And if this is someone that I've been following, that I'm looking at, that I see them doing business, I just automatically assume that everybody wants to move to South Florida. Everybody wants to vacation here. Everybody wants to move here. So I don't even think if they don't have a referral. I'm just, when it comes, when you hear somebody moving to South Florida, think of me, And so I've even had another agent reach out to me that says she wants to buy a home in Orlando or Naples. So since I don't live there, I have a friend that's an Orlando agent. So I just connected them, but she's a realtor herself. So it's already becoming that point where she's sent me deals already. I've sent her deals. None of them have closed, but we're already like trying to make something happen. So strategically, I follow agents that are doing things in other states, and then I'm looking at them and I'm constantly like engaging with them and just seeing what they're doing. Then after that, I send them a little DM, hey, we've been following each other. I love what you do. I super support you. If you ever have someone that wants to move to South Florida, here's all my information. You don't have to look anywhere. Here you go. Then some agents do that for me and vice versa, right? And then you always want to kind of set up a call and just say, whenever you chat, let's get on a Zoom call or a phone call just to get to know each other so we can learn a little bit more about our markets. And when I market my services to other agents, I tell them that I can handle all of South Florida, all the way up until like, let's say, Boca del Rey, West Palm. But what I tell them is, listen, I don't live in that area. Obviously, I'm not going to be servicing that area myself, but I have a team that stretches that far. So if you just refer your deal to me, I can just put someone that's on my team on it, and we can service you. So that way they don't feel like they have to go to someone else for West Palm or someone else to Miami, South Miami. I just say, just come to me and I'll find the right person for you. Being on the board and having all these relationships.
Yeah,
so whether that person is on my physical team, I only have 5 girls on my team and we do stretch from Broward to Miami, but let's say they don't service an area that someone's asking me about. I know so many agents. I can just refer them to one of my partners, one of our YPN network people. I know so many that I use them as my team. So when I talk about my team is like 50 plus, because those are the kind of relationships that I have with other agents. So I just allow people to think that my team stretches that far. If they're not from South Florida, they don't know the difference between West Palm, Miami. They just say, hey, you're in Florida. Can you help me in Jacksonville? And sometimes I'm like, no, Absolutely, I can help you. And I'll go and reach out to one of my girls in Jacksonville and I'll make the connection and I'll tell her, here, this is how it goes. Now, a lot of the time, if it's a lot of work and not a lot of money, I'm not always collecting a referral fee because they're going to be doing a referral fee together. I just want people to get used to coming to me whenever they think of anything in Florida. And then I want to disperse it from there. That way I can decide if it's something that I can handle, then I'll handle it. And if something that I have to refer out, I'm only going to refer them out to the best people, and better me than them just going to someone that they don't know at all.
For sure. I love that. I love that. I love that. Being the resource. I try to do that myself at the firm. Like if anyone needs somebody, they're like, I need help with this. I'm like, yeah, I got you someone. And like do that email intro for whatever.
I just want, my goal is just to be the go-to when someone thinks of South Florida. That's my goal when I interact with my agents on social media or people that I meet in travel, which leads into the Miami YPN. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, for sure.
But when I took on to sign up for the board, again, it was just to build stronger relationships with other brokers and agents from other companies, which now extends my referral network of individuals. And I highly respect everybody on the board. For them to be on the board and volunteer their time, these are people with standards, with morals, with respect. So these people I trust to give business to. So that just only expands my referral network, right? And then being in president-elect role, it requires us to travel. I mean, this was my first year as president-elect, and we had a trip out of state every month. Obviously, a few of them got canceled due to this coronavirus. But before that, what I planned is that every state that we go visit as a board, I would make like 4 or 5 connections with realtors in that state via coffee, meetups, or whatever, just to build my referral business in that state since I'm already going to be there in person. And then what we were planning to do is do little happy hour mixers, YPN Miami collaboration mixers at like a little venue over there. So that way we can invite a bunch of agents and just build our referral network. So my goal this year was really to build my referral network all over. And I was using all of the communities that I'm in, all of the organizations that I'm a part of, by YPN, all of my women empowerment things. I'm just, how can I build more agent referral, business, even in my traveling and in my trip? So I incorporated that in my business plan. So that was like something that I had to do,
Yes, in the plan.
So you ladies have amazing referrals, by the way. I mean, amazing and very trustworthy. But how does one understand and truly understand, if I'm going to refer someone out, how do they vet? How do they understand that person's actually viable? Because I guarantee you, many of these agents referred clients out to the wrong person.
Honestly, I feel like you got to do like the most research you can doing it online. Is someone present in all areas? Do they have an active Facebook group? Do they have a LinkedIn? Is their LinkedIn profile updated? Do they have a Zillow, a realtor, something? And still, even with all that, you can't determine if that person's going to be great. Get on a call with them, feel them out, read their energy, really try to build a relationship to see what this person's doing. Follow them on social media. If I'm referring someone, a client of mine in another state, I'm just looking at what they're posting, what their daily life is like. And still, you can't judge a book by its cover. It's like you're going to be taking a risk at some point, but you have to try. But there are so many ways to be able to validate that and just kind of like back it up by whatever you're seeing online or their profiles or their Facebook. And just if they're showing up daily in their career path and they're doing what they're doing and you can see it in on their choices of what to decide to post, that has to be somewhat believable unless someone's absolutely fake, right? And then at that point, it's a personality thing. A lot of the times if something doesn't work out in a client agent relationship, it's because they just don't vibe, So I do believe it's like a lot of work ethic. It's a lot of being available, responding immediately, communicating, over communicating, following up is such a huge thing. If you're doing all those things, then sometimes that can supersede just a vibe and energy. So I think there's a lot of factors into it, but those are the ones that I look at if I'm referring a client out. I'm like, well, where are they? Let me see what they're doing. Let me see what they're posting. Let me see they even have a Zillow page active, Yeah. Those little things are the things that we can actually control and see. So those are the things that I look at.
I don't want to go backwards in the conversation, but I want to like remind everybody again that you send out that sheet, like you actually ask for the referral. It's so important because, the more you grow social media, the more random DMs you get and you start getting hit up by people, right? So, but to me, that's a memorable thing. Even if I forget at that moment your name, because I do that, I'm like, I know I got hit up in the DM by this agent from Miami. So let me go find that. Let me go find that. Let me go find her. And I know I have somebody that I can ask for help with. So it's super important to ask.
Ask for what? Ask
for the referral.
I didn't want to go backwards either. And I'm laughing because of that. I'm like, God, I have so many other questions on that topic. But let me just elaborate to everybody here. I ask for the referral every time I win a battle, not the war, the battle. So if there's a small little thing that I do, I ask for a referral. I do it in the beginning because if the consumer, how their mind works, what I believe, humbly I believe this, is that once they get what they want, that's it. They're done. They've gotten a house and now it's like that. But obviously you have to make an impact on their lives and they're going to send referrals and relationships. Bethany, you're absolutely right. But I do it prior. I do it prior to that and I build it all up and then I ask and ask and ask and then I continue to ask. And then after we close, there's a form that is submitted. It's automated. And that form asks for 5 more in their office or sphere of their influence. But I feel like if you do it in the beginning, you're basically drilling it in their head to say, okay, there's going to be a testimonial. They know that. There's definitely going to be a referral that we would like. And I'm all about video content. So I want a video. Most people don't want to do that. So very important to continue to ask and not just after the loan closes. It's the beginning and that's the highlight.
For the direct client for sure. But then for the referral sources, that's a different dynamic, right? And it says like, when you need help, I'm here for you. And here's, even if you need someone totally, it could be an agent referral, but just be the resource for Miami. Like whatever you need in Miami, let me know. You want to know what hotel to stay at. Like you just want to be the person that's related to for you guys as realtors to the geographical area.
It doesn't matter. You don't know when the referral is going to come. But for agents that are out of state or out of city, like what's stopping you from just asking from business? If anything, they don't know you. They don't know what you're working on. Just say, hey, I'm out here. I'm doing this. If you need anybody in this city, in this zone, come to me. I can help you. I just want to be your referral partner. And then that's it. You leave it alone. You sent the reminder. You let them know. I like to focus on like the cities that I know are really like, we're a no income state tax city, right? It's like state. So I like to focus on the ones that have it, because usually when they're trying to relocate, where are they going to relocate to? Sunny weather, so like there's little even strategies of like, where do you see more flights coming in from, right? People wanting to move from California, New York. But I try to hit up all the major. I have a personal relationship with an agent in every major city, and I'm always constantly just trying to work that relationship, just making sure if they have anybody. But for me too, because if I have someone that's going to move, they're probably going to move to that major city as well, So the same goes. So that's what's worked.
So on your one sheet, I like to call, like, what do you call them? Like, here's my realtor one sheet, and it has like your stats, your contact information. Do you put like, I'm president-elect YPN? I do all, like, do you have your little thing so they can like, like your mini little resume, your mini little bio?
It's like a little resume bio with a picture, and I talk about how we can collaborate and what that looks like briefly. And then I talk about the referral. I talk about the money right away. Hey, when we collaborate, easy, this is the percentage that I offer you. And if that's not enough, then let's negotiate. I'm open to hear what you have to offer. And so what happened with me is like, I have these few agents that one of them is a sports agent. So her business is everywhere. She sells and lists properties all over the US because she only works with athletes and NFL athletes. So she deals with these guys straight from the draft, and that's her business, right? So she has relationships with agents all over, and she works on a 50-50 split. But she reached out we built a relationship way before this, like 2 years ago. I was on her podcast. She was on mine. We were all like, just like constantly spending time and getting to know each other, following each other. She reached out to me recently and said, hey, I have a listing in Brickell. I don't live in Brickell. Do you want to work this listing with me? Let's do it 50-50. And it was a $5 million condo in the Jade. So we basically co-listed it together. She's not here. I handled all the showings. I dealt with all the buyers. She dealt with the client, the seller specifically, and handled all that communication. And we worked at 50-50. Usually a referral would be like a 25-75. But in this case, I was doing 50% of the legwork here and she was doing 50% over there. And she wasn't being picky or anything. She was just like, listen, this is just one of many. Let's just split it 50-50 and get it done. And that was a relationship that I built over time. And over the past 2 years of us just like being on each other's podcasts and connecting. And one day she came down to Miami, we had coffee. Next thing you know, we're co-listing a condo and the Jade together, And so that was all based on, and she's not even a realtor here. Like she can do business here, but she doesn't even live here. And so that led to me collaborating with other agents that I noticed, so I had a listing that was in Broward for someone that was very close to me. And I just decided that I knew someone that could better serve that listing quicker and faster because they lived in the same neighborhood. And that is a $1.7 million listing. I could be greedy and say, no, I want it. I'm going to just, sell it on my own. I'll drive back and forth. And it's in Fort Lauderdale, so it's not even that far. But for me, I'm like, I don't even want to do that. I know someone that does that neighborhood specifically. So we got up, we teamed up, and now we're splitting that listing 50-50. We're co-listing it together 50-50. We're both working it as however we can. We're delegating and we're doing it 50-50. Now that is something that's coming up, right? We're going to be listing that one. But then in return, that agent gave me 3 listings in Miami because they don't want to drive to Miami. Wow. And we're co-listing those 50-50. One of them just went under contract and another one we're going to be listing next week and another one we have on the market still. So that one relationship, people are always thinking about keeping more for themselves. And I get that, if you can do something, do it. I'm not saying just give your business away for no reason, but I'm a huge believer that sometimes collaborating and working with other agents will bring you more business and it helps me reach more area. Now I can focus on all of our Miami listings and she can focus on the Broward listings that I'm giving her. And we're splitting it 50-50. She's given me more than I've even given her. I just happen to give her one big one, So now it's I've got multiple listings that I'm co-listing with other agents and I'm saving them the trip. They can trust me. I can trust you. When it comes to Broward, you can show it, you can manage it. And then when it comes to Miami, I'll take care of anything, errands, showings, you name it, whatever. And I'm doing it for 50%. But for me, that's it doesn't matter. It was a relation. It was something that was given to me, to be honest. And now I'm working it. I would treat it just like I would treat any of my listings, but it just goes to show you how one can turn into 3.
It's amazing. And
so,
there's so many different ways you can find those relationships. So you mentioned YPN, of course, right? So that's an amazing way. You mentioned social media and finding agents online, but there's a lot of other ways. I love to shout out Women's Council, of course, because I'm on the board in Broward. There's Women's Council all over the country. There's if you have a national brokerage, you can reach out, introduce. I know Compass agents are really, really good at doing that. They're always doing little meetups. I notice all around the country when they're traveling, and they're always making a point to meet up with them. But that's a great way. There's so many brokerages that are national. So reach out and introduce yourself, find them. Such a great way, right? Do you have any other ideas for these types of outreaches that you could do to meet agents around the country or even around the state?
I mean, it's literally just that, reaching out, right? Kind of just seeing who you want to do business with and contacting them. I mean, you could reach out to title companies, you could reach out to lenders because they have they have agents too, and they can help you build relationships with other agents in their area. I reach out to my vendors all the time. I'm constantly asking my vendors for business, even though they have a lot of relationships with a lot of other agents. I just feel like if I'm going to give you my business, then in return, you can give me yours and we can work together. Either you have someone or you don't. I'm not going to stop from asking,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty much what I did. I mean, and in the beginning, I used to just offer my assistance for when people would travel out of town, and I would just look for really, really busy agents. Like, this is when I was year one in the business. I was always just looking at busy agents, and I'm like, do you have someone to handle your showings? Do you have someone to help you out with business? And I would work like that to build relationships. And then now I know a lot of people do that with me, a lot of new agents, and it's just like the gift that keeps giving, you know?
Collaboration.
Yes. But
Right?
it's so crazy because what you don't realize is that you can collaborate with any agent anywhere. They don't have to be just a part of your brokerage. They don't have to be, you know, someone that you know. You can, and that's what's worked best for me this year to keep my business, to get new business, because now I'm teaming up with agents on their deals, you know, and then and then when I get a deal, I share it with them if it works out that way. So I think that's been very fruitful this year, building those relationships. And that's how I've been getting a lot of my referral business. And then I like to give them shout outs, and I tell them, I was like, listen, I'll write a review for you. You write a review for me. Let's post, let's share, let's get on a live together. Let's talk about our deal and what we did. So that way my network can get, like, if it's someone, you know, from another state, we do a live together. Everybody that's following them can see me. Everybody that's following me can see them. And that's another way to kind of share your audience with each other.
I love that. You know, we have agents that are watching on Facebook from other parts of the country. So go hit them up later and introduce yourself, because they're chatting in the video.
I'm an investor.
Yeah, one's an investor agent and one's from Atlanta. So go check them out afterwards and say hello.
I'm here going to South Florida if you need anything, you know.
And doing things like this is a perfect example. You know, we're like, with something like this, we're starting to get people who are watching from different parts of the country. So it's a great opportunity to showcase what you're doing, whether locally, whether it's Florida. We have Orlando agents watching. We have like North Florida agents.
Yeah, I really said to this year, I only want to focus on outside referral business and my circle of influence, you know, but I really wanted to build that outside referral source and just make sure that everybody outside of Florida, if you have someone that's coming to South Florida, you think of me. That was my goal this year.
Absolutely.
So we got a question here. Just to check and learn from you all, what other value adds do you try to bring in for other agents other than referrals? So you mentioned shout outs and trying to like
I asked them, what can I do for you? Every agent has something different that they want, you know. There's one agent in New York that we did a deal together. He had something really specific. He's like, oh, just help me with my dad's, you know, business, promote it for me, do this, do that. I'm like, whatever you want. Absolutely. You know, it's like, if you ask, they'll tell you what they need. So it's whether, do you want me to give you a shout out on my social media? Do you want me to send an email blast about who you are and what you do? I'm open to that. I'm not mind. There's enough business for us all to go around and share. So promoting someone else on my social media is not going to take away from me. But sometimes if you just ask an agent, like, what other businesses do you have going on? What other projects are you working on? How can I really help you? How can we really be referral partners and help each other in all areas of business in our lives? They'll tell you.
I love that. I love that. So do you mind sharing what your little one sheet that you send out so we can show it as an example to our peeps?
I don't have it like on here.
No, we'll send it. We'll send it in the email afterwards. Okay.
Hours, yeah.
If you're subscribed, you'll be able to see a copy of it as an example, because
it's like I need a little picture of it. It's not like a PDF, but
right.
I need a little picture of it, and I'm like, I want to be your referral partner. And sometimes I just send them that picture in the DM. You know, that way they can have that.
Yeah, let's get them inspired by seeing yours, and maybe they'll make one too. So I love that. I love that. All right, Anthony, you got anything else up your sleeve for questions or things? That was really good.
I don't have anything else, but I just saw Peter just he's
on a call. He's on a call. He's not paying attention.
I just want to say, you know, Bethany is amazing at social media, and she follows up like a queen. Her team is amazing. She deals with a lot of individuals that are just talented. And
my girl's on right now, Michelle.
Hey, Michelle.
Where's Michelle? Where is she?
She's in the chat. She doesn't have her camera on.
Yeah. And you see, I know there's so many familiar faces on here of realtors that we're in groups together. We're in book clubs together. They've come to a lot of my workshops. They're constantly showing up. So like, I consider them, we're all on the same team.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And a lot of people, I want to take this moment to say a lot of people don't know where to start or like how to like conduct themselves on social media, how to what to do. Find someone you like and don't copy them, but find someone you like and see how they do it, you know, get inspired. I was inspired by Bethany when we met. I'm like, man, she's always in her stories. Like that is influence. My stories are like now influenced from Bethany. Like I'm like, I gotta get in my stories more because what's what everybody does now is just watch the stories.
Those stories are deep, man. It's like
the story. I know that is like 10. There's like 10. Some days
engaging. That's the crazy part. You know who just did this is Natalie Rivero talked about a spice rack, but I was so intrigued about this freaking spice rack.
Did you swipe up on her swipe rack? I did too. I like the spice rack.
And that's what it is. It's stupid as it sounds, but it just engages you. So that's, people don't want to do it. You have to do it, man. You have to expose yourself. It's good for you.
Get in front of the camera. Don't be shy. Get used to it. And they'll definitely help. And don't be shy to reach out. Ask for the referral, whether it's from past clients. Ask the referral from your referral sources, or ask for the referral from people that could be referral sources. Don't be shy. What's the worst they're gonna say? No, you don't know them, so who cares?
Yeah, and they don't know you, but that's not gonna help. They need to get to know you.
Right? Exactly.
That's what you need to tell them.
Any other questions? Do we have any other questions?
I just checked on Facebook. We cut them all, but I am so happy that we got a couple questions in. Everyone had some great feedback here from the ladies here in the chat too. So thank you so much, Bethany. That was so fun.
Yes, thank you so much. I sent links, guys. If you are not subscribed to Damage Control, the content and how to provide, her cheat sheets and all the stuff that she's going to be bringing on, it's going to go into the funnel, but you need to register. So Raj, you need to register, brother. You're hitting me up on Facebook, register, and then you can get the content. Tonight at 5 p.m., Peter, thank you for joining us. YPN Pro Mastermind. We're going to have a Zoom meeting, so register. I also hit that up on Facebook and in the Zoom. And
all right, I love that. That's it. All right, guys, have a wonderful Monday. Have an amazing week. Everyone kick ass, okay?
All right.
Bye.
Bye.